geometric sequence, and I just showed you this video, which is just kind of change. Then I told you, I gave you two sequence before, which is in general, what is the meaning of sequence? The sequence, it's listed, it's a list of numbers or items. And we had before two kinds of sequence, which is arithmetic sequence, and we discussed before about also geometric sequence, which is the main concept from this lesson. So arithmetic sequence, which is goes from one term to the next by always adding or subtracting. I think I also gave you example 2, 5, 8, 11, 14, and so on. So here you can see between this term and 5, this term, it's by addition, plus 3, from 5 to 8, plus 3, from 8 to 11, plus 3, again, here also plus 3. So same thing with this one, but it's by subtracting. So here, it should be in arithmetic sequence, what we learned in the first semester, it should be the difference between them constant. I mean, the common difference should be constant, which is should be by addition or subtraction. While geometric sequence, it goes from one term to next by always multiplying or dividing. You might see it in your book, common ratio, but I wrote it like this just to make it in simple way. So here is example. So this is the example. Here from 1 to 2, I'm multiplying by 2. From 2 to 4, multiply by 2 again. From 4 to 8, multiply by 2. From 8 to 16, multiply by 2. If you want to find the next two terms, you can multiply again by 16 by 2, it will be 32, and so on. 32 by 2, it will be 64, and so on. For this sequence, again, we can just say it's by division. So 81 divided by 3, divide 27. 27 divided by 3, it's 9. 9 divided by 3, 3, and so on. 3 by 3, it's a 1. And if you want to find the next two term, you can just divide also by 3. So you will find the next term here will be 1/3, and then it will be 1/9, and so on. Then here's our objective, to write and use recursive formula for geometric sequence. So let's begin. I started with you the first in the previous class before. Recursive, I will show you here, which will be easier. Recursive formula, it will give me the previous term. So you always need the first term, which is a given value, and you can just use the nth term, which will be depending on the previous term. Like I can go back to the given example. Like here, and this A1, it's a 1. Then we can just write, for example, if I'm giving you A3, for example, A3, it should be 4. So it should be 2 times 2, which is the common common difference. That's what we have here. So R, this is the common ratio, sorry, not the common difference, common ratio. So the R is the common ratio. What we said here 2, it's a 2. So here I wish if I can write, so I will try this. Okay, great, I could write. So here we can have R, it's equals to, then we can write A1, it's equals to 1 according to this example. Then if I'm asking you to find, for example, term number 3, which is, we can say the previous term, an minus 1. So we can say n minus 1, which means A2, which is the previous term, times R, which is the common ratio. So we can replace these two numbers, and then we will see term 3. So A2, which is term 2, which is 2. Then R, it's a 2, which is the common ratio. Then you are going to multiply them. So which is 4, and that's what we have here for, which is this one, A4, which is A3, which is 4. Recursive formula, we can just see also explicit formula. What I said, it will be helpful, it will be very helpful if I'm asking, for example, for you, if I'm asking you the 16th, for example, term, or 17th term. It is very difficult for you to find the previous term. So let's rewrite again the sequence that we had. So it's 2, and then we have 4, then we have 4 times, it's 8, then we have 16. That's what we have in our previous example. So if I want to find, for example, the explicit formula, I can just say, for example, an, then a1, which is the first term, which is 1, times r. This is a power, n minus 1. Example, I can tell you for example, find a, for example, let's write easy one. Find a5, for example. If you need to find a5, you don't need to have a4, like recursive formula. You can just say a5, substitute in your formula, a5 equals to 1 times, what is r? Our r was 2, so it's 2, then this n minus 1, it's a power. I need to find a5, so just replace 5 minus 1, that's a power. Keep in your mind, this is a power, but this one is index, so that is 1 times anything will give me that thing exactly same, so it's 2 to the power 4. If you calculate 2 to the power 4, you will get 2 to the power 4, you will get 16. So you will get 16. Because 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, 4 times, you will get 16. And if you notice that here, so that's the term that I need. So that's the term that I need, which is 16, which is exactly same. I'll give you more examples and details in the coming slides. So first of all, we need to identify geometric sequence. We need to check if the given sequence, if it's geometric or if it's not geometric. Definitely, you can classify it by geometric and arithmetic, or nothing from them, or none from these things that you learned. Definitely in this example, they just mentioned if it's geometric or not geometric. But what I need you to do, girls, you need to know if the common difference between them constant by addition or subtraction, that's mean it's arithmetic. And I will give you example at the end of the session. So let's see the first one. The first one, if you notice here, you are multiplying by 10, multiplying by 10, multiplying by 10. So the common ratio is constant, and this common ratio, it's 10, and so R equals to 10. So if you need to write it, we will use this R in the coming slides, in the coming examples. So the sequence is geometric because this is by multiplication. Now let's see the next example. So the next example, 2 times 2, it's 4. Then if you multiply by 2, you won't get this one. You won't get 6. You will get 8. So if you multiply by 1.5, so the common ratio is not constant. So there is no common ratio. If there is no common ratio, that means the sequence is not geometric. Let's check if this sequence arithmetic or not. So here if we plus 2, and here if we plus 2, we will get 6, right? If we plus 2 again, it will be 8. Yes, that's great. So if we plus 2, it will be 10 also. That's amazing. That means the common difference is constant, which is 2. So my D, if you remember from the previous semester, my D or the common difference is 2. So this sequence is arithmetic, not geometric. But in your book, they wrote just not geometric. But if I would like to gather all your information, I can tell you the sequence is an arithmetic sequence. Let's check the last one. So the last one is 5 times -1, we will get -5, right? So if we multiply times by -1 again, we will get 5. If we multiply by -1 again, we will get -5. Again, if we multiply by -5, it's a 5. So we have common ratio because this is repeating in all of them. So that is r equal -1. So the sequence is geometric. So that's for the previous part. That's for the first part, I mean. So let's check these. So for the first one, what is the difference between them? We need to check the difference between them. So here, what should we do? What should we do? The common difference between them. Here, we are going to divide by 2. So once we multiply by 2, sorry, times 2. Then again, times 2. We will get 12. Then times 2 again. We will get 24. Then times 2. We will get 28, and so on. That means here we have common ratio. So that means this is geometric sequence. So I'm gonna write for you because they said which of the following are geometric sequence. If the sequence is not geometric, it's arithmetic. So that's what I was saying before a few minutes. So that is for A. It is I'm sorry, I cannot write well by using the mouse, but I'll try my best to make my answer organized as much as I can. I'll see if there is other option so I can do. I'll see. I think the best thing, the one that I'm using. So I'm sorry, I'll keep this. So for the first one, it is. You can take notes, girls, once I'm working on the lesson, because I'm very slow once I'm just giving this lesson because I cannot write fast, and I want everyone can understand me. So the first one, geometric, we might say reason. If I say explain, for example, if you see, for example, in your workbook, you can say because the common, I'll just write for you like short form because this is just short. Because you can say because the common, I cannot write easily, the common ratio is constant. which is equals to 2 times 2. You have to put multiplication, like multiply by 2. So for B, we can just move from this one to this one by what? By adding 3. If you say, okay, miss, I will multiply by 2. If you multiply by 2 here, what about from 6 to 9? From 6 to 9, if you multiply by 2, you will get a 12 like this one. So, but here, if you add 3 between each, you need to try definitely. If you sometime you will start between the first two terms by specific way, then you will notice it's different. So that is plus 3. I'm not going to write the rest of them. So that's a plus 3 also. So that is what? Because it's addition, the common difference is addition. So it's an arithmetic sequence. It's an arithmetic sequence. Then I will need to move for this one. So this one, what should I do with this one? So here, if I multiply by 1 over 3, what will I get? I will get this one because numerator by numerator, denominator by denominator. Same thing between this fraction and this fraction. I will multiply by 1/3. Same thing for this one. If you multiply 27 by 3, you will get this one, and so on. So that's also an geometric sequence. So that is geometric sequence, and the common ratio between them is constant, which is 1/3. For D, which is the last one, if you try here, for example, if we try multiplication, we cannot, definitely. If we try division, we also cannot move from 4 to 7. There is no specific number. Maybe we can have a fraction, but we cannot move easily. But if we try plus, for example, plus 3, we will get 7. Then from 7 to 11, we will plus 4. So since we will plus 4 and here we will plus 3, and we don't have any specific number we can multiply with from 4 to 7 and from 7 to 11, that means this sequence, it's not arithmetic, and also it is not geometric. So you must say it's neither arithmetic and geometric, or nor arithmetic or geometric. So here is more examples or exercises if you want to try them, because I will post for you this PowerPoint. You can try them. These exercises exactly the same exercises in your book, but just I want to mention one thing. Determine whether the sequence is geometric sequence. Explain. So exactly the same thing that I did in the previous exercise. The only different here you need to explain, and I did explanation here. That's what I need. You can just say it's a geometric because it's the common ratio is constant. If it's arithmetic like this one, you have to say it's arithmetic because the common difference is constant, not the common ratio. You are going to say the common difference is constant. Here, the only difference, you need to find the common ratio, which is the R, which is the constant between them, like what we did before here, times 2. So times 2 between all of them, and we did this example. This is my common ratio. So you are going to just put this common ratio, and that's what I need. Now here, we are going to find the recursive and the explicit formula, what I showed you in this slide, which will be helpful. You can just write it in your notes, exactly same thing that I wrote. So the recursive formula, that is depend on the first term for this sequence. So for the recursive formula, we just can write the first term, which is A1, which is, this is small index, it should be here, A1, which is 7. Then you need to write AN, which is any term I need, which is the nth term. I did not specify any term, which is the nth term, equals to AN minus 1 times R. So I'm going to replace all these things that I need here. I will keep as it is, an to keep this general form, an equals to an minus 1. Then I'm going to find what is the r. What is the r here between them? Here, if I want to move from 7 to 3, I'm going to multiply by, by 3, right? By 3. So same thing with this one. I'm going to multiply by 3. So that's my common ratio. I'm going to multiply by 3. You can check later. So this 3, I will take it here. I will substitute it instead of other r. We just need to rewrite this one and organize it. So you can just say an equals to an minus 1, 3, and minus 1. I just changed the order. You can see in your book, I'll show you what did they write. They tried to write for you some terms, like they are telling you that in term 2, we need the first term. So it's A1. Let me just cover this. In term 2, you will substitute here the previous term. If you substitute, this is term 1, this is term 1. Term 1 equals, term 2 equals to term 1 times the common ratio, and then you will find it at 21, and so on. Term 3, you will say, term 3, I'll write, term 3, it's equals to term 2 times the common ratio, which is r. Substitute, so that is A2. What is A2? A2, it's this one, 21. So 21. Then multiplication, this multiplication, I'm going to write for you, it's multiplication. So times 3. So once you just calculate that, you will get 63. That's what we have here. So that's the idea for the recursive formula. For the explicit formula, which is the good formula that will help me to find any form I need, to find any term I need. For example, if I'm asking you to find the 100th term, for example, 150, you are going to use the explicit. Because if you are trying to find the recursive, once you want to find the 100th term, you need the previous term, which is term number 99. So let's substitute in the formula that I gave you before, which is this formula. If you don't remember it, I'll show you, which is A1, you are going to substitute by the first term times r n minus 1. So let's do that. So let's do this again here. So this will be, I'm going to substitute. So an equals to, I'm going to write the general form, then I will substitute to remind you. A1, that's what I should memorize, times r to the power n minus 1. So an, I will rewrite it again, then I will substitute by things that I have. What is A1? A1 is 7. I'm going to substitute, this is A1. So it's a 7 times r to the power n minus 1. I'm done like that. I'm done from finding the explicit. That's my explicit formula. And that is my recursive formula. I'm talking about the general form. What about if I, for example, tell you, find, for example, if I tell you, for example, find the, for example, which term we can say, the third or the fourth term. The fourth term. if I'm asking you to find the fourth term, for example, by using this one, I can just say, okay, A4 equals to 7 times R to the power. So what is R? Sorry, here I must write what is R. I forgot to write what is R. So I'm going to erase this R because I need to substitute. So that was 3. So it's a 3 to the power. This is the general form. Then I need here to write. I need to write 3 to the power. What is the power here? The thing that I will change here. N, which is 4. 4 minus 1. 4 minus 1. I'm going to substitute this. So that will be 7 times 3 to the power 3. As you know, 3 to the power 3, it's a 27. Then you need to do your calculation. You can do it by your calculator. You know, that is 27. Once you do your calculation, you will get by calculator 189. 189, which is we did not depend here in this formula. We did not depend on any term from before. I just depended on just the common ratio, which is I can easily find data from the first 3 terms or first 4 terms. What about this one? If I want to find the fourth term by using I don't know where is the mouse. So for this one, if I want to find the fourth term for this one, if I substitute A4, which is equals to 3 times, now I'm going to substitute AN, the N4. So 4 minus 1, it's a 3, which means the previous term. Now, what is A3? Don't confuse between this one. This A3 represent term number 3. This is A3, term number 3. So I'm going to substitute now. So it's a 3 times A term number 3, which is 63. If you multiply them, you will get 189. So for the part that in green, the question did not ask me to find it, but I found it for you because you might see it in the exercises or in the problems. For the next part here, for the find the recursive and explicit formula for the following. So let's do that. So first of all, we need to find what is the common ratio. That is the first step. So for the common ratio here, you are going to multiply by 2. So multiply by 2, that's how you check. That's times 2. Then times 2. So that's how you check. Now R is equals to 2. Then for the recursive formula, for the first one, for the recursive formula, I'm sorry, as I told you, it's very difficult to write things by mouse, but I will try my best. So for the recursive formula, it will be, I need A1 is equals to 2, then I will need to put comma, and then I will write the general form. AN is equals to 2. I memorized it. It's what? It's R times, if I change the order for you, you don't need to worry, AN minus 1. Now I did not finish, I will substitute. AN, substitute by what? I will substitute by this R. This is the thing that I know. I did not give you a specific term. I did not say the fourth term or the fifth term. I did not say that, so you just must keep it n. N equals to, what is r? It's 2, so that's 2a n minus 1. I'll change the color to avoid confusing you. I'm sorry, as I said. For the explicit, formula, you're supposed to memorize the general form. The general form, I will repeat it for you again. We learned it before, an, which is equals to a1 times ar to the power n minus 1. There is something given. A1 is given. I must substitute. So that's only the general form. An equals, what is A1? A1 is this one. That's A1 times, what is R? The same thing. Is there any question? Any problem?
No, thank you.
No?
Yeah.
Okay. So for this one, I'm going to divide by 2. It's like I can say this is, I can multiply by 1/2. Exactly same thing. It's up to you if you want to say divide by 2 or you want to say multiply by 1/2. But I will write multiply by 1/2 because I can write it easily in my forms. So that is multiply by 1/2. So that is my R. So R is equals to 1 over 2. So for the recursive formula, I'm going to say A1 is equals to 40. Then I will write AN. I'm going to substitute. AN is equals to, what is R? 1/2, 1 over 2 times AN minus 1. AN minus 1. So that should be small index, but my handwriting is not much organized because of the mouse. Now, for the explicit, AN, which is the general form, which is the form that will help you to find any term you want, which is A1. What is A1? I will substitute directly 1 over 2 because I wrote it for you before, times, now this is to the power, I just changed the order. All this to the power, I'm going to write parentheses. All this to the power n minus 1. Then times with term 1, 40. So in this formula, you are going to put term 1. This is term 1, the first term. Then you will multiply by the common ratio to the power, this power minus 1. So n minus 1. So for the second problem is this. We have also extra exercises. I can just post for you the answers later. Here you will write the explicit and the geometric formula, exactly same thing that I did before. Even with these, it's just 2 exercises or to practice. So here we have word problem. If we have 2 managers at a clothing store, created sequence to show the original price. So then, and the marked down price of an item, you need to write recursive formula and explicit formula of each for each sequence. What will the price of the item be after sixth markdown? So here you need to have you need to notice one thing. I need to write. Let's write first. That I forgot. I think I've covered the sequence itself. So I'm going to write for you the sequence from the book that I have. So it is the first sequence. I will do it for you, the first sequence, because I covered it by mistake. So it was 60. Okay, then $51. Then we have 43.35. Then 36.85. Okay, then and so on. First of all, to write, they asked me to write the recursive and the so I need first of all to write R. What is R? So what is R? Here I will try to find, you don't need to worry, I will give you easy numbers. I'm not giving you difficult number, but in case if you like, try Pearson, because Pearson will give you any kind of number. You can just check, divide 51, for example, by 60. Once you have been done that, you will find the ratio 0.85. So once you done this way, you are not sure if you divide this one by this one, you will get this one or not. So you need to check. But definitely, once you divide them, that means the common ratio here, you are multiplying the opposite by 0.85. Because this is the opposite operation. I divided them to find this number. Now, the opposite, if I want to get this number to this number, I'm going to multiply them. So same thing with this one. Now I'm telling you that this is geometric sequence. If I'm telling you that this is geometric sequence, that means the ratio between all of them constant. So that is 0.85. Now I need to write I need three things. You need to notice that step by step. One, I need to write the recursive formula. So as I told you before in the class, step by step, you need to focus what I need from you in this question. So the recursive formula should be given by A1. A1 is what? The first term, which is 60. Then I need to continue AN, which is equals to AN minus 1, the previous term, AN minus 1 times R. What is R? R is given 0.85. All this to the power, there is no power here for this one, times R only. For 2, I need what? That's 2, explicit formula. So for explicit formula, AN equals to term number 1 was 60 times R to the power N minus 1 times, which is, I will put like big dot like this, R, which is 0.85, 0.85, all this to the power N minus 1. Okay, things I need also sixth term. So sixth term now to find the step 3. So to find when N equal, but if I say when N equals to 6, because this is a word problem, I must focus on. The sixth term is this one, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not given here. 5, 6. But keep in your mind, the sixth marked down, and I'm talking about word problem. So the first price was the initial price. This is not the sixth term. This is the sixth marked down. So the sixth marked down should be the seventh one, right? Because the first one was the initial price, while the rest, this is marked down 1, this is marked down 2, marked down 3, mark down 4, and so on. That means I don't need to find the 6th term. I need to find the 7th term, which is the 6th mark down. So you don't need to confuse in this part if it's word problem or if it's regular uh, exercise or numbers only, and I'm asking you to find the 6th term. If I'm asking you to find the 6th term in just numbers regularly, you can just substitute by 6 immediately. While here, because I'm asking you to find the 6th mark down, which is word problem, which is the first one, the first term represent the initial problem, the initial price. So let's do it. We can find it easily by using the explicit, because if we are trying to use the recursive formula, which is this formula, I need to find the 6th term first, but I don't know what is the 6th term first. So I can find this easily by just substituting A7 equals to 60 times 0.85, all this to the power 7 minus 1, it's 6. Then I will just do all my calculation and then I will find it, which is 22. If you just estimate it, 22.63. So that's after estimation, just calculate it. I'm sorry, as I said, it just the calculation is it's very difficult to write. That's for today, girls. I don't want to take more than 45 minutes, which is exactly the same class. The next class, inshallah, I will continue with you from GOT 3. Then I will give you the exercises and the homework. You don't need to worry. Step by step, I will give you everything, but just give me enough time to prepare and send for you everything you need. Good luck, girls. Enjoy and have a good day.